God, you're destroying the nut. Oh my God, it's gonna break everything in half. Everything's gonna die. Everything's gonna just go bad. Oh my, you're such a hack. Flat jaws, flat jaws, flat jaws, not channel locks. Knipex. Yeah, that's for those idiots out there.
This video is brought to you in part by TruTech Tools. Quality tools, essential support.
All right, what's up guys? So we were at a grocery store and we're gonna check out a cooler that's running too cold. It's supposedly 22 degrees in there and they don't want that. So we're gonna go in there and check it. Chances are this may be controlled by a sort valve, S-O-R-I-T, sort it, which basically controls saturated suction pressure. So let's go in here and see what's going on with it. I don't know yet, we just got here, so you know as much as me. Let's go take a look at it. All right, so we got the key, talked to the manager. He said that it alarmed, then it cleared out. So we're walking down here and we will go to the computer, see which case exactly was doing it. And it could be anything in particular, it's just really hard to tell. There we go. All right, you want to see a wired mess? This thing is so flippin' old. Check this out. This one here, I think, still running R502. Nope, 134A there. This one here might be, yeah, this one here is still 502. Then these here have been, well, 507 is what these run. And then we converted some of these to 407F. But yeah, these are miniature racks, basically. 2 compressors with potentially 2, 4, 5 circuits. This one here's got 7, 8, 9 circuits. And yeah, it's just a raggedy old mess is what all this stuff is. And it goes all over the place. You can kind of see real quick how you have leaks and things like that when this stuff is all just rattle city. And then this one's a beauty. You do not want to touch that. That is all your control system back in the day. This is what the control system used to look like. This thing here, like, it's so ancient. It was back when I first started and I first worked for a company that took care of some of these stores. This is what we had. But since that time, they went out of business. Then we updated them to the E2 controllers, which to me, I like these. These have been pretty easy compared to some of them I've worked with. So let's go ahead and click the alarm button here and see what the alarm was. So it was the D22 case, poultry, C1 case temp 1, low temp exceeded. That happened at 7:13 in the morning. It's the 14th, today is the 14th. The limit is 24 and it went to 24.5 and it cleared 8, 9, 2 hours and 15 minutes later. We're just about there. There's poultry. Right now we're running 33, pull it up. So we only got 1 circuit there that is 1 temperature sensor, okay? So we're gonna go down and we're gonna go to the temperature. We're gonna hit enter. We can graph this thing. We can see if this has been an ongoing issue. Then we're gonna check our refrigerant level in our rack and see if maybe there's something weirdo going on there. So look, all of a sudden, out of the blue, we had a couple dips over the time frame. We had a hellacious span here. We're going from January, February 28th all the way up to March 15th or whatever today is, 14th. You can say we've had a couple miscellaneous issues. What I'm wondering, do we have a solenoid that may be sticking? Let's zoom in and scroll over when we do this. So zoom in, scroll over, zoom in, scroll over, zoom in, scroll over. See the zoom? Otherwise, if I zoom in, it'll zoom in way back over here. So you can see right here, boom. Now these here are defrosts. But all of a sudden, something went, ah! And then, ah! Well, you can see 2 fingers, that's where the defrosts are at. See, 2 fingers, 2 fingers, 2 fingers. 2 fingers, boom. This should have been a defrost right here, but yet it did not come up in temperature. And then another defrost. This time it caught and it came up. So you can tell a lot by just kind of looking at it. So let's go find D22. This one's D. And you can see right 22, because we couldn't do these in order. 14, 16, 18, 20, there's 22. Walk on chicken, whatever. So it's gonna be on this little rack here. I put these up here because when I first started doing some of these stores, this thing's such a flippin' mess. You had, oh, it's a C, no, it's a D, it's a whatever. It's just horrible writing. So let's go back here to 22 and see how they're controlling this. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Somebody put that right there where it's easy to get through. Beautiful. So, these do have solenoids. So they do not have sort valves like I was thinking it might have been. Let's look over here at 22. I'm sure that vibrating on there is probably really good for it. So it looks like that right there is 22. Believe me, there's not a whole lot of room here. You're kind of tight. So, looking across, yeah, that's 22 maybe there. There's 17. There's 22. So that's it right there. You can see a little oil on it. You know, what would happen? Like I said, it was going to be more of a potential sticking because these are going to fail closed. What a wiring nightmare. You got a hand valve right there. Which, yeah, I'm sure that's definitely not leaking. Yeah, sure of it. So what we can do here is we can go into the solenoid. So we went back to D22. We scrolled down here to solenoid. It's off currently, okay? So we're gonna hit enter. We can graph it, which is gonna show us on and off for a long period of time. And there's so much information, you have to zoom in. And then that is going to show us when it came on and came off. We can see that. We come over here to that today's date. Yeah, look at this. Humongous gap right here. Look at that. The 14th, and then at 4 o'clock in the morning, it stayed off for a long time. And then all of a sudden, boom. I mean, you don't even have to go into the log. See, if you go to the log, you can see the exact timestamps. Here it's a little harder to tell. These little measurements here can be an hour, they can be 15 minutes, whatever. So what you can do also, instead of doing the graph, you can go to log. We'll go to 2. Okay, so we scroll down. Well, we already know that when it malfunctioned, that alarm, it happened at 7:13, I think it was. So we expanded the info. So 7:13. So we want to know between 7:13 and 9:33. And let's scroll down between 7 and 9:30. So it's page down, which is a lot faster than scrolling. And let's go down to 7:13. From 3:03 a.m. all the way up, and then somebody's calling me because I'm trying to work. You gotta call me, Clayton. Okay, so Clayton's over there working on a oil failure we got going on, which is the video I wanted to show you guys last week, but I can't find the SD card. I think I lost it. I switched it and I was working on stuff. Well, he's basically showing me he's got good oil pressure, which is exactly everything I had last week. And yeah, so he's working on that one and I end up getting this one here. This is a different store. So anyhow, like I was saying, that solenoid was off. I'm thinking that we've got a solenoid sticking. We got to either tear it apart and swap the guts, which is kind of what I'm thinking of doing. I don't want to unsolder it for nothing. It's just one of them things where, I don't know, I guess it just depends on how hard it is. Theoretically, sometimes it's better to swap the whole thing, obviously, but this thing ain't been on hardly at all. I mean, look at that. But like I was saying, going down, I mean, this thing has been off like crazy. It was not on at all. Hardly at all. Like right now, it's off. So if we can get back over here to this. We can feel if it's warm. Not warm. That one is. This one's not. Yeah, that is a really, 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 really bad spot. Really bad spot. Yeah. I mean, if we lay something across all this nasty crap up here, we could get into it. All right, so what we're gonna do is cut this thing out and get started with it. We're gonna pump it down real quick. So I'll show you what we're doing here with this. I unscrewed the one that I was pretty sure it was, and it looks like it is. So that'll make it a little easier to kind of see that we're pumping it down. And then there's suction valves also on the back side that we'll have to hook into. Grab my 22 gauges just because it's a lower pressure. I don't like 410 gauges for this stuff because it's so flippin' high gauge, 5-pound increments half the time. I really am not a fan of that. So we're running about 42 pounds, something like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna force this thing to run. We're gonna shut some of the other circuits so that it just mainly pulls majority on that one there, and we pump this thing down. A lot of this just comes down to common sense, but you know, I gotta admit, no one went out of their way to tell me this stuff. Makes it a little easier when you have somebody kind of just give you a little basic heads up on stuff. And it's just, for whatever reason, in this field, a lot of people just don't want to help anybody with anything. So let's go ahead and lock that one on. So let's log in. And the reason why I'm locking this in is because we're going to purposely make this thing pump down real close. I want to get most of it out of it. 40-some pounds is quite a bit. If I can get away with only losing or only having maybe a pound or two in there, I'll feel a lot better about it. Okay, well, it's not going to be as easy as I was hoping. So we'll close that one. Close that one. All right, look at that. She is down to 0. So if we can find 22, let's isolate it, unfortunately. So we've got 1, 2, 3, third one over. It should be this one right here. So this one goes all the way through on the same diameter. And this one right here is the 60615, the Yellow Jacket. TruTech Tools has this, so use the discount code SURVIVAL, save yourself some money. Show some love to them since they show love to me. One of the few people out there that's been with me since the beginning. So we're going to get on there. That way this does not strip out. Also, one other thing I just recently bought is a dedicated 3/8 socket here, which I got at Amazon. It's basically 3/8, but it allows me to get on there with a wrench, my ratchet. But it's in crappy positions, I can just go and be done with it, and not have to fool around much. Okay, we just cleared that out. And then we're going to go in there and turn that compressor back off so it's no longer overriding. All right, so I went out to the truck, and I do have a 5/8 valve body here. I always take mine apart. Get your plunger, then you've got the main seal there, and then you just have the regular body there. So the way that actually works is you got a plunger that's going to go back and forth. You got the seal there that you see moving on me. It's a metal seal. Got the plunger and a spring, and it should just go back and forth. I mean, really nothing should go bad. Then that goes down into that piece right here, which stops flow. But you'll see a little port right there. That right there ends up letting the refrigerant back through, and then lets it help to open itself up when it releases with the called the solenoid coil. As you'll notice here on the brass body, there's not a whole lot to go wrong. However, what happens as time goes on, sometimes you can get wear in there, and it may get cockeyed, and it could cause this to go cockeyed. I don't want to change this. Trust me, I do not want to change this. This is going to suck. I went ahead and unhooked one of the wires from it. It's kind of dangling there. Most likely this is through 230 volt. We don't want to yank this off and then have it burn up the coil. So like I said, what I end up doing is taking that off. I got to put a wire nut on it real quick. I basically stuck the wire nut on the other red piece right there that you see at the bottom. We're going to yank that thing out of there. It's kind of shady the way they did it because Obviously, it could short into that tray. First of all, you had to cut this out just so you could get into it. And if you count these, 1, 2, 3, 3 over, well, when I first counted it, I went 1, 2, 3, and didn't get the right one. I went this one here because I just went 1, 2, and 3. Well, guess what? The suction stem for this thing is completely ate up. I'm gonna try to clean it up with a wire brush wheel, but I can't crank it in, so I can't even isolate the suction. If that's the case, there's no way in the world I'm gonna be able to solder it in. I'm gonna try to clean it up and see if I can get it in that way. Otherwise, I'm just gonna change the guts and have to do it live. There's nothing else I can do. I'll do my best when I can, but when it comes down to stupidity, I'm not gonna kill myself on it. You gotta make a judgment call on it. So that's what we're gonna try to do. That socket thing I've got and my brush wheel here. So that's where that little socket that I just showed you is gonna come in handy. We'll be able to stick that on there and run her in and out. Okay, so up here on top, you can see these two lines come together. The one comes down, connects to that liquid line. The other one is this big line here, and it comes down, and there it is. I cleaned it up as best you could clean it up, and it's still, that's as far as I can get it to go in. When it's compared to the other one that went all the way in, that's as good as it gets. At this point, we're gonna spray some degreaser on that fitting right there. We're gonna back it out. We're gonna throw some guts in it and see how it works. I don't know what else to tell you. The crap's old, and you know, there's only so much I can do. I'm gonna do my best. If it works, great. If it don't, well, then we can do something else at a later date. I'm not going to kill myself to try to get it done today. Nah, right now we're already at 2:30. Try to get that crap cleaned off. So basically we're hot swapping. It's not what you should do, or it's not the right way to do it, but there's only one, that's the only way I can get it. There's not a whole lot of options here. Not a lot of options in this shit design and shit install. I mean, what else did you do? It's just in a bad dang spot. It's in a bad, the crap should have been replaced a long time ago. That's just all there is to it. Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I can do is pump it back down like we had before and just pump the whole thing down. That's the only thing yeah, let's just do that. Okay, the other funny thing here is these levels are always freaking low, always. And so that they ever lose refrigerant, they don't run for very long before they trip out. So we're doing a pump down right now. I ended up just turning all the solenoids off, which took a little longer, but just like anything, getting down here into these solenoids, or into the valves down to the bottom on the receiver tank, pain in the butt. All right, so we're just about there. 5 pounds. We're just gonna wait for it to trip out and it'll shut off, because it actually tripped the low pressure switch or whatever down there. I think that's low pressure. Whatever it is. Actually high pressure. That's kind of crazy. That was tripped. So that's gonna be a lot easier to handle with 1 or 2 pounds of pressure on it than a bunch of pounds of pressure. Okay, as you can see, we're up here on top. Now we should be able to back this thing off without anything major blowing in our face. And that's truly in a pretty, oh wow, look how wore out that thing is. Total garbage. All right, so that should be exactly the same as this one here. So we're gonna go ahead and switch the guts over. Let's stick our plunger deal in there. Let's see if we can't look in there and see any crap. Look at that on my finger, how dark it is. These racks are filthy dirty. I can't hardly see anything that great from here. So we'll go ahead and stick that in there. Get in the hole. Please don't be off by a milliscooch. There we go. Slide in the hole. There you go. There we go. It kind of is holding there as long as it don't blow out. I mean, it's under a positive pressure, very, very slight amount right now. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and get this off there. So we're going to go ahead and slide this back behind it. So we're going to get the seal in there. Probably should have moved my light around a little bit. It made it a little easier. There we go. There we go. Boom. Like that, like a glove. That's a lot easier anyway. Whatever. Flat jaws, flat jaws, flat jaws, not channel locks. Knipex. Yeah. It's for those idiots out there that, oh my God, you're destroying the nut. Oh my God, it's gonna break everything in half. Everything's gonna die. Everything's gonna just go bad. Oh my, you're such a hack. And like I said, we had maybe a pound of pressure or two on there. It was definitely slightly positive. You could feel it. See me hold that pipe. Okay. There we go. Do not want that to break off down below. That would be really bad. And just so you know, I do have the hand valve off on this one here. Yeah, surprised that thing ain't wiggled through. And then we have a new plate and 5/16 screw. So let's get that in there and kick it back together if I don't fall off the top of the rack here. Yeah, we're not going to leave it like pumped down and all that crap to try to braze it in. And there may not be a darn thing wrong with a solenoid being swapped out. Honestly, I've never had to do it before like this. So, ain't not that big of a deal. But if you know me, I like to make sure everything's done to the best of my abilities. That's just the way I like to do things. That's some risky things they got going on there. That's kind of, well, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Trying to get your hands into this stuff, just nuts. Pure nuts. And that's the kind of stuff that happens all the time. We got it all back together, or we got all the circuits on. Spray this down real quick. Make sure there's nothing leaking, obvious anyhow, and we'll look at it a little bit better here in a minute. Well, you can see pretty good now what you have working with here. I mean, all it would take is that not to go all the way into the plunger, to go all the way into the hole there, and that would let the refrigerant leak through. I mean, that's the only thing I can come up with, and it probably is. I mean, if you think about it, it's like hardly ever coming on, which makes me think that it's probably never shutting fully off. But it is new now. And we're able to get a good solid stream on it. It appears we got it from what I'm seeing here. Definitely got liquid going out. And you got liquid leaking out of that thing. Ain't that fantastic? Oh, there goes my gauges. That's nice. It is always something, I'm telling you what. Look at this, I'm up here, I got my drill ready to fall off as soon as I pull this around. I'm already on top of a thing I shouldn't be on top of, and I got that thing leaking. Love it. And you wonder why I'm negative. Oh, can't imagine why. Yeah, totally all about safety here. You know, that's the thing that sucks. If you used to fall down there and get trapped in between, snap your neck, whatever, nobody's coming to look for you anytime soon. Matter of fact, there's a good chance of it being Friday. Nobody probably even checked, because not everybody calls in. So you could be dead in there and nobody would know. Whatever. That's why you gotta try to work safely as possible. One of the things I do to make sure I try not to lose things, which, like I said, lost my SD card, don't know where that went. But just keeping your tools in a pile where you got to walk by them to leave. That way you can grab them on the way out and hopefully not forget them. Okay, we're at 30 degrees right now. Solenoid is off. Set point is 33. Must have a variance of 3. Yep, 3 degree dead band. Let's see if it's shut off. Yep, it's cold, which means it's stopped the flow. That Schrader core there is still leaking. And that must be why they used a true brass cap for that. And so we're just gonna put it back on there. I'm not gonna fool with going and getting a Schrader core removal tool. The freaking Schrader itself's already kind of tweaked. $38, $30, $40, $41, $37, $36. Everything is on. It should be on. Well, just like you figured, I mean, this is freaking noisy telling here. So just like you figured, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory when you go through and you look at the alarm log there and then trend things. So you're able to tell what exactly is acting up, and that's pretty much what we did and how we determined what was going on. As far as anything else, I mean, it's pretty easy to kind of, I'd say it's kind of makes it a little easier when you have a case that's actually getting too cold. Generally, it's not a refrigerant issue. It's not an issue with, you know, dirty coils, any of that stuff. It's just it's running too long. And then when you have the data logging going on where the solenoid is staying off, I mean, that whole time, I mean, that pretty much tells you everything you need to know. It got cold with the solenoid off. What controls it? The solenoid. This one here, like I said, does not have a sort valve or any type of evaporator pressure control. So that kind of wraps that thing up. If you guys enjoyed the video and want to see more like it, I hope by now you have subscribed. And if you haven't, please consider doing so. As always, guys, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Please leave a comment down below. And until next time, we'll catch you on the next one. Later.